The Fast Food Chronicles Part 2. How working fast food became an escape from my tragic home life at the time. So, I was 16 years old and I got hired at this place called Whataburger, which is a fast food restaurant. Very popular in Texas. It's spreading to other states. And it's burgers and it's fries and it's milkshakes. You know, it's an American fast food restaurant. It's a good old burger fast food restaurant, kind of like In-N-Out, Carl's Jr., you know the drill. So I got hired at this place when I was 16 with all my best friends, and there was about 5 of us that ended up working there. And I think that I had such a great experience in the beginning. I want to say like the first 6 months of working there was like peak work. It was like the first job, the first time I ever felt like I was doing something with my life that, you know, felt like I was actually making a difference. And not like, oh, I'm saving the world by cooking burgers or whatever, but I was making money, I was making friends. You know, I was just 16, so I didn't need to make much money, and this is 2016. So this is before inflation. I remember the time when I was surviving off of paychecks that were like $200 or $300. Even less than that sometimes. I would have checks where it was less than $100, and somehow I was able to make that stretch. Because all I needed to do was pay my phone bill, put gas in my car, and, you know, then I could just buy whatever. You know, I would either buy a video game, I would buy cigarettes, or, you know, weed, alcohol. And that's all me and my friends needed to have fun. You know, we would just cruise around and, you know, listen to music. We were being hooligans. And so I was kind of a bad kid at this time. I was definitely going down like a delinquent path. I was not a good kid. I was getting in trouble in school quite a bit during this time. And I had met a group of friends that ended up being my friend group for the next 2 to 3 years. But this wasn't any just normal group of friends, right? These guys were all like basically bad kids is what I'm trying to say. Some of them were older than me, some of them were adults, but I ended up joining this friend group where we would go around on the weekends and break shit. We would literally go like ding dong ditch. It started off with like ding dong ditching, yelling at people, and then it progressed into like more and more like worse things, like breaking people's stuff, breaking windows, you know, popping people's tires. Dude, we would do all sorts of fucked up stuff. It was bad. Like even like social media, like bullying. We would drive around like 8 of us in a car, literally packed like sardines, just doing bad shit. And I'm not gonna lie, it was fun as hell. That was peak life. That was peak life. No responsibilities. I worked a shitty fast food job. I had a bunch of friends that were funny as hell. We were just running rampant. It was pure freedom. After, you know, growing up with all these rules, it was like for the first time in my life, I had freedom. And I did something bad when I was hanging out with these guys around the time I had this fast food job. So I had, you know, been at the Whataburger for 2 or 3 months, and I had made some friends. I even met a girl there named Joanne, who I was kind of getting pretty close to. You know, I was developing feelings for her, and I'm pretty sure she was starting to develop feelings for me as well. She was like my first real like girlfriend, like that I first had sex with and everything. You know, she had an apartment, and yeah, that's a whole other story. But so when I'm working at this fast food place, I'm also going out and in my free time just being a delinquent. We would drive around you know, till like 3, 4 a.m. some nights. And I'm not gonna lie, it was fucking epic. And several of the people in this friend group were in school with me. Several of them had already graduated or dropped out. But for the most part, we were buddies, and we all kind of met up at the same time and formed this friend group. We called it fuckery. That's what we would call the delinquent shit. We would steal stuff from the store, and we would call it fuckery. We would steal stuff, we would bully people, mess with people, bang on people's doors, we would break people's stuff, vandalize stuff. I could go on. That's not even the worst of it, which I can't even share. But so I ended up there was this one unfortunate night where we had broken a bathroom sink at a local park. I took a giant paver and I smashed a fucking sink. And we didn't think anything of it at the time because we had already done a bunch of bad shit. And we didn't get caught. We never got caught. We always got away with it. And I remember at Whataburger, there was this girl that I worked with. And, you know, I would hear little things here and there. She was like, oh, someone broke my neighbor's windows last night. There was like a group of people. And she was telling it to me. And I was just sitting there like silent, like, bro, like this chick doesn't know, like, bro, that was me. Like, that was me and my friends that like literally broke that guy's windows out. And yeah. So, of course, we had an oath of silence. You know, we kept it under wraps. We didn't really share. We had a group chat. This is during the time of Kick. We had a Kick group chat. And it was so fun. And it was so epic. But eventually it caught up to us. So, I broke this sink at a skate park. And we came back a week later. And my friend named Matt, he thought it was cool. He broke the other sink. He grabbed the same rock and went into the women's bathroom and he broke the other one. So a couple weeks later, I believe some other kids like destroyed some park benches at the same park. And I guess the city got fed up with it. And so they released a Facebook video of us walking. There was like a CCTV video of us walking around, and they caught us like going into the bathrooms, breaking the fucking sink. They didn't catch the actual sink breaking, but you see me walking into the bathroom in the video like with a giant like stone. Hey dude, and then you see us like all running out of the bathroom, and then there's another video of like the other incident, and then they dropped a video of like those kids jumping on like the benches and destroying them. And they were like, oh, cash reward for whoever can identify these hoodlums. And our Kick group chat, I just remember seeing the screenshots in the Kick group. And one of my friends like, dude, we're fucked. And we're all freaking the fuck out. Man, I can make a whole video about this. I'm just gonna cut to the chase. We got caught. People recognized us. We got caught. I ended up going to juvie. I remember thinking we were trying to come up with scenarios of somehow like, you know, we're gonna like stay silent. Someone ended up snitching. Someone ended up getting identified and snitching. And I remember they called my dad. The police called my fucking dad. And I was walking with that girl I worked with at Whataburger. We were walking home. And I got a call from my dad, and he's like, get your fucking ass home right now. Right fucking now. And so I hugged that girl, Joanne. I gave her a hug. I was like, look, I don't think I'm gonna be able to see you for a while. Like, you know, I almost cried. And she was like, what's happening? What's going on? And I told her, like, I have to fucking go. And let me tell you, that walk home, like, I had to like part ways with her. I told her what had happened, And she was like, oh my God, are you serious? Yeah, I told her what happened, and I ended up walking home, and that walk was something else. Like, I was fucking scared, dude. I was terrified. I didn't know what my dad was gonna say to me. I was like, dude, I'm fucked. And I just remember I got home and my dad was waiting there for me, and he would just like, sit down. And I sat down, and he was like, this is bullshit, blah, blah, blah. Like, he was just very disappointed, and he was like so angry. And the cops came by the house, and you know, it was a whole fucking situation. He was like, you're gonna go up there, you're gonna turn yourself in, blah, blah, blah. And I just remember the moment when I found out I was gonna go to juvie, that I was like actually gonna get, you know, my dad asked on the phone before like we went up there to like turn myself in, like, oh, is he gonna have to get arrested and like go to, you know, get locked up? And they were like, yeah. And I just remember that feeling, bro. My vision literally like went into tunnel vision. It went into fucking tunnel vision, and I just remember like the whole room felt like it was spinning, and that moment it just felt like everything was like falling apart. Like, I was like, bro, I'm getting put in fucking juvie. Like, what the fuck? And I just couldn't believe it. I went into like depersonalization. Like, I felt like I was in the third person watching myself, like sitting on the couch, just blank. And so yeah, I ended up turning myself in with my dad there. It was very fucking sad. I got put in the back of a cop car. I got handcuffed. I was put in a juvie. That's a story I need to tell y'all. I ended up getting out of juvie, and the rest of the summer I was grounded. I was fucking grounded. I had to fucking give up my phone at like a certain hour. I couldn't play video games. I couldn't go outside. Couldn't hang out with my friends. I couldn't do shit. Like, after getting out of juvie, my house was basically a prison. Like, my dad had no sympathy. I couldn't go do anything. I had to like miss birthday parties. I couldn't, you know, like watch any TV, nothing. All I could do all day was just sit in a dark fucking room and read books, which is fucking, bro. No, dude, I fucking hated it. I hated it. That grounding, I was grounded for months. I spent months like that. But I was able to keep my job at Whataburger, and that was like my only escape. That was my only escape. That was my social interaction. I remember I would be happy to go to work at Whataburger. I would be happy to go clock in. And it was just one of those experiences that, you know, it was my way out of the house. In a way, it was a getaway from my family, because my family didn't even want to talk to me. It was just such a shameful experience. So that's where I had like, in my friends, remember that my best friends were working at Whataburger at the time. So I was still able to go to these like early bird night shifts. And that's what I ended up doing that whole summer. I worked like the night shift. I would work till like fucking 2, 3, 4 a.m. sometimes. And it was fun as fuck. You know, we had great times. Me and the drunk people, messing with the drunk people was really fun. My shift, I got to see my friends still. I got to hang out. We would play pranks on each other. We would, you know, bond with each other. I was able to keep communication. That was also how I was able to somehow hold on and keep my phone on me, because, you know, I needed my phone to like get in touch with work. So Whataburger was an escape from the torture of the household where my dad was. And also my mom came back into the picture, which was kind of also a relief, because sometimes I was able to go and hang out with my mom and grandpa, which ended up also being like, so my mom and grandpa were living in the same apartment complex as the girl I was talking to at work, my coworker Joanne at Whataburger. And I was able to escape and sneak out of my mom's apartment to go see her. My mom didn't care. You know, she didn't care about me breaking that shit. My mom was always like not very disciplinary. She didn't really like ever like punish me. But my dad would always punish me for the smallest shits. I would get grounded for the smallest shit. It was crazy. Like any little thing, I was always getting in trouble. Bro, I was probably grounded like half of my life as a child. Like, I shit you not. I was always getting my stuff taken away. Always getting fucking grounded for weeks on end, months on end. And dude, people would get grounded for... And I was 16, dude, and I was grounded for months. I was 16, being fucking grounded. You know how that feels? That feels like shit. And at this time, I was also on fucking probation. So somehow this was like the best and the worst year of my life, because I found ways to cope with it that ended up being like true experiences. And dude, the social dynamic, being able to go to school like before that and seeing my friends, and then seeing my friends at work, and then meeting these girls at work was just awesome. 2016 was probably the best and most chaotic year of my life by far. That was peak life. I was literally living in a movie. Every day was different. Every day was something interesting. I had real goals. I had like something to work towards, which was like graduating school, getting off of probation, getting out of the grounding. But yeah, I ended up starting to date that girl. I started dating that girl. I remember I snuck out one night and I was in her room, and I remember cuddling with her. And it was during the time that I was grounded. And that was like one of the best experiences ever. I remember like holding her, and I was so scared, my heart was racing. And I remember I kissed her in the fucking bed. It was just like super nice. I just remember I was in love, for real. I was in love with her. I felt like a true love for this girl, because she was there for me when I got grounded, when I was on probation, when I lost everything, when I lost all my privileges. And I was able to see her at work, so that's how I was able to keep up with her. And I knew at some point, like, I had a big crush. And eventually I confessed my feelings to her and we started dating. So I eventually got ungrounded after months. When I went back to school, I got my car back. I got my freedom back. And that's a whole story for another time. But the lesson in this is that sometimes when you're going through some shit, work can be a true escape. Throw yourself into your work, immerse yourself, make the best of it, and have fun while you're doing it, you know, and find a way to get your mind off of the shit you're going through, you know. Yeah, I'm so glad I had that job at that time. I'm thankful for it. I'm truly thankful for that experience, because it kept me sane. And I think if I would not have worked there, I probably would have gone fucking crazy and probably did something bad or had like some sort of mental health issue. Because yeah, my home life at my dad's house was not... That's one thing about these years, you know, we look back and reminisce, but I lived in like a really toxic like household, and it was just fucking bad. And getting out of the house was like my only escape, and being grounded, just, if I didn't have that escape or that excuse of being able to work, I would have just fucking, I don't know what I would have done, man. I don't know what I would have done. All right, well, peace out, fellas. I gotta head out and go do something, but I I hope that little story is interesting and you know you got something out of it. All right, this is Dark Warrior. Peace out.